Everyone, and welcome to Retirement Made Simple series by Bibi Apampa, the Retirement Queen. Today, we'll be discussing managing retirement finance. How do you manage your retirement? The money that comes in that you have either as an investment or retirement income, how do you manage it in retirement? That is what we'll be discussing for a few minutes today. Now, when we're talking about retirement income, there are some things that we need to look about. See yourself as a king, see yourself as royalty. And this is a royal era when you're in retirement. So it's not really about finishing line, it's like you're restarting. I call it retirement, not just retirement. Because since we all live longer lifespans, managing our finances becomes the key to really unlocking our peace, freedom, and the confidence that led us to reign during these golden years. Now, as a Christian, I'll be talking more from a Christian point of view on what the Bible talks about when it talks about retirement. I look at Isaiah 46:4, and God says, I will be your God throughout your lifetime. Until your hair is white with age, I made you. I will care for you. I will carry you along. I will save you. That gives me so much confidence and so much peace that God says He made me and He would care for me. So even though I'm going through retirement, I'm worried about finances, I'm thinking about what will I do in retirement, I have that promise of God. And another version of it says, even to your old age and gray hairs, I am He, and that He is God. I am He who will sustain you, have made you, and I will carry you. I will sustain you. I will rescue you. What a confidence we have in God, seeing us through this our golden age. Now, when we're talking about retirement finance, there's 6 pillars which I'll be discussing today. The first pillar is that of know your kingdom. I said we are kings and priests. So we have a kingdom, and our retirement is a royal era for us. We need to know your kingdom. What it involves basically your budgeting essentials to be completely aware of what you're going through. Then, as a royal, you need to know how to secure your treasury. What are the saving strategies that you need to do? And how do you manage your pension? And because we are royalty, we're going to invest smart investment approaches for steady growth. And we need to be very careful. We need to guard our gates. We talk about insurance and risk management. And then because we know that we want to leave a legacy, a good legacy, then we're going to talk a little about estate planning that would have maximum and lasting impact. And then we live in this our era of this our reign and in retirement, fulfilling our lifelong dreams, desires, and passions. Let's begin. The first one is on budgeting. Know your kingdom. The Bible is so complete. In Luke 14:28-30, the Bible reads, suppose one of you wants to build a tower. Won't you first sit down and estimate the cost to see if you have enough money to complete it? For if you lay the foundation and you're not able to finish it, everyone who sees it will ridicule you. They would say, this person began to build and was not able to finish. That is not going to be our story. We will build and we would complete. So we need to know our kingdom. That's where budgeting comes in, tracking our income and expenses. And we need to know exactly what enters and leaves our financial kingdom. We need to distinguish between the needs and our wants, prioritizing essential expenses before discretionary spending. And luckily for us in this age of AI, there are modern tools like Mint, YNAB, spreadsheets, simplifying tracking of our finance. We're able to budget effectively. Remember, intelligent royals, which you are, knows what is in the royal coffers. Now, the second part is secure your treasury, savings, income, investment. It's important for us to diversify our royal treasury. Remember in Proverbs 27:23, it says, know well the condition of your flocks. Give attention to your herd. The Bible is really complete. When it comes to savings and investment, we have to diversify, as I said. So where do we put our money in? We put our money into high yield savings accounts, especially please in a currency that is stable, not one that will be devalued overnight. So we will have our investments in stocks, in bonds, in mutual funds. We have our pension fund and annuities, rental income from our real estate investments, and maybe a home business or a side also that we're involved in. Please try to always keep aside an emergency fund of about 6 months that would cover about 6 months of expenses that is easily accessible, and keep it separate from your investments. Now, how would cancer that you just make savings and investments a regular pastime, a hobby, something you just enjoy doing. Because security really comes from having multiple income streams. Next, we're going to look at investing like royalty. How do we grow our wealth? Please be counseled that there are many options that would come up, but please investigate and do your research before putting your money. This is your royal income, your retirement income into any type of investment. But it's always better to have multiple investments. The Bible tells us in Ecclesiastes 11:2, it says, invest in 7 ventures, yes, in 8. For you do not know what disaster may come upon the land. I know for many of us, especially the lockdown era, when there was COVID, it was really difficult for those people who were into business and no money was coming in and businesses were shut down. So it's very important for us to diversify. So where do we do? So go into low risk options. These are bonds, credit, certificates of deposits, and money market investments. The moderate risk investments, these are dividend stocks. We have real estate investment trusts, and then balance funds that you can put your money in. Please don't keep all your jewels, don't keep all your investments in one. Diversify your portfolio. And then please work with certified financial advisors who would advise you on the right options to put your money into. Now going on to guard your gates, your insurance and risk management. The Bible again has message for us on this. In Proverbs 27:12, it says, the prudent sees danger and hides himself, but the simple go on and suffer for it. The prudent, the simple, they see the same danger, but the prudent hides himself, but the simple goes headlong into it and suffers. We would not be that kind of person. We will be prudent with the resources that God has given unto us. And then 1 Timothy 5:8 says, if anyone does not provide for his relatives, especially for members of his household, he has denied the faith and is worse than an unbeliever. That would not be our story. When it comes to insurance, what do we do? Please, this is the time when you need to put in place your health and life insurance. Have a comprehensive coverage for your medical needs. Especially if you are in a country where medical services is not free, you need to have an insurance that would cover it. You also need to have a life insurance so that by the time you are no longer here, your family are well covered and will be given something that would help them, jumpstart their life and know they have something they look forward to. And you will also be at peace knowing that you have provided for your family. As we are growing older, we would need long-term care, medical care. So it's important that we protect against costly extended care. We provide for it. And the longer you start doing it, the easier it will come to you. We will need to, your house, your home, your assets needs to be insured as well. So please make sure you have a good home insurance. And I would say that as a royal, every wise royal protects a realm of influence. So it's important. And the best way of protecting is having an insurance that covers the risks that you might see when it comes to your finances in investment, in retirement. Now, going forward, we need to plan to leave a legacy. The Bible tells us in Proverbs 13:22, it says, a good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children, but the sinner's wealth is stored up for the righteous. We're good, I believe. And so we're not just thinking of leaving an inheritance for our children, we're thinking of leaving an inheritance for our children, children. This is very, very important. So please, you need to have a legal will. And for some people, a living trust might be better because then that helps against and protects your family when it comes to inheritance tax. So please make sure that the legal documents that would have your will is in place, ensuring that your wishes are followed. Now, when it comes to the will, there are two types of will you need to have. You need to have the legal will and you have to have the digital will. The legal will is the most common one that all of us know, and we go to a lawyer and he prepares this for us. But there's the digital will. And why do we need a digital will? We need a digital because many of the assets that we own, that we have passwords, we have codes that we use to access them. It would be so terrible if after you are gone, your family cannot access your assets or your investment because they don't know your code, they don't know your login details. So it's important to have a digital will where you're going to list all your digital assets, your bank account, your savings, your the things you subscribe to, the core password, and then you have everything documented, and then you can then email it to yourself or set up a something like a Google Drive where you can upload it, and then you now have what we call a legacy partner who would know that this you have this digital will there, they can access it. A legacy partner is someone you trust because that person gets to have access to all your passwords and codes and all. So be sure to choose somebody that you really trust. Then it's also important to have a family communication. Discuss with your children, discuss with your spouse what you want to happen if you are not around. It helps to make sure that there is peace all around you when you're no longer around. Yes, you might have raised your children with love, with support, and but people change over time. They get married, they have different pressures on them. So it's important to have family communication, open discussion about what you want to happen in your when you're no longer around and what you want done with your estate. It's also important to have what we call a power of attorney. This is somebody who has the decision making on your financial and health matters, maybe just in case you're not able to take such decisions. So it's important to have a power of attorney in place. Then there might be some causes, some charities that are dear to your heart, and you really, really would like to support them and give them something. So please, your family needs to know that part of your estate, you would like to give some to this charity or some to somebody who has been good to you. If you remember in the story of David and Jonathan, he said, is there nobody in the lineage of Jonathan that I can show mercy and show favor to? And that's when they brought in Jonathan's son. So it's important, please, 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 to document all these things so that there'll be peace when you're no longer around, and even during your retirement, you know that you are at peace because you've taken care to plan your estate effectively. Now, there are some common pitfalls that we need to avoid when we are talking about retirement finances. You know, in Ecclesiastes 11:2, it says, invest in 7 ventures, yes, in 8, but do you know what disaster may come upon the land? This is because the Bible is warning us that some things might not go the way we planned it. So there are some people that I just want to highlight for us to avoid that could give us problem or trouble later. One, overspending in the early years of your retirement. I know it could be exciting. You've worked so many years, you're so happy that now you're retiring, you get a lump sum tax free, and then you start thinking of spending it here, buying this, doing this, going on a cruise, redoing your kitchen, so many ideas. But please be careful that you don't deplete your savings too quickly in the early years. It's always the best to be on the side of caution and plan it out properly. It's recommended that you only spend about 4% return of your investment in a year. So that way you're sure that your capital, your savings, your investment will definitely take you through your years. Because most investments, they give maybe 5%, 6%. If you're spending only 4%, then you're able to account for inflation. That's another point, another people we need to avoid, ignoring inflation, failing to account for rising costs over time. Inflation is there with us, it will always be with us. So that's why it's all important to take cognizance that yes, value of a dollar today is not the same value 5 years from now. So we need to plan ahead and infuse inflation into our calculations. Healthcare costs. Unfortunately, as they grow older, you might have healthcare challenges. So it's important, like we said, when we're talking about risk and insurance, that we have an insurance that take care of our healthcare costs. And then diversifying our income. Please do not rely on one single income source. Even if you think that income source is doing so well, it's still a good idea to diversify and have other streams of income that would come in. Now, going on to the next point, and in rounding up, live your reign. This is the time when you need to fulfill your lifelong dreams, desires, and passions. I'm sure you must have a bucket list, but don't just have a bucket list. Have have a list that what's the word, that helps to exercise every part of your body. And what do I mean by that? Your brain is a muscle. It needs to be exercised because you don't want to get amnesia or Alzheimer's disease, which means try to learn something new, a new language, a new skill, just learn, travel, read, because you need to exercise your brain sincerely. And what the bucket list, your hobbies and passion should lead you towards a healthy lifestyle, which means the choices of food that you make right now is important. The choices of what you do to stay healthy and fit for life, it's important. For example, it's important that you try to exercise your legs. Once the leg gets weak, the whole body gets weak. So, as the minimum, please try to incorporate 30 minutes of walking into your lifestyle on a daily basis. That will give you about 3,000 steps. But what does that do? It means that the blood will keep circulating in your body, your legs stay strong, and you stay healthy. So please incorporate a healthy lifestyle when you're thinking of the hobbies and passions you will take in your retirement. This is a time to be at peace with God. In Psalm 91, verse 16, the Bible promises us, says, with long life will I satisfy him and show him my salvation. When I turn this into a prayer, I feel like with long life, in good health, with sound mind, will God satisfy me and show me my salvation. This is important. We don't want to just have a long life without good health. We want a long life, we want good health, and we want a sound mind. So it's important that we're at peace with God. Always have an attitude of gratitude. When you're grateful, it's difficult to be depressed. So maybe you can have, what you can do is maybe have a journal where you just, gratitude journal, where you just list the things that makes you happy, the things you're grateful for, the things you're thankful to God for. And whenever you feel, just go over your gratitude journal to lift you up. It's a time to meditate, it's a time to live a life of worship. You've come this far with God, you need to continue with God. And then as they during this your retirement season, is the time when you become a family pillar. People look at you as someone that has a lot of wisdom. So this is time you need to be more accommodating. You need to reach out, you need to extend your hands and make sure people enjoy coming because it's a lonely season, I'll tell you. It's a lonely period if you do not plan ahead for it. So it's important that you reach out, you get involved in your church or community, you connect with your old school or old fellowship friends. You make sure that People love coming to see you. You're a peacemaker, you're a bridge builder, you're a waymaker. People love being around you because as you're growing older, people will probably think, oh, you're old school or you don't have the same ideas. But when you keep yourself, when you keep abreast by learning new skills, by being a peacemaker, a bridge builder, people will know they will gravitate around you and they'll come to love you more. So it's important to leave your reign. This is very, very important. Now, in rounding up, you have to understand that there are tools and resources in this era of AI, artificial intelligence, that would help you to take good account and manage your finances properly. There are a lot of budgeting apps. You have the Mint, you have Pocket Guard, you have Quicken, you have Simplify. There are also investment platforms like Trading 212, eToro, Interactive Brokers, Fidelity. What you can do is to turn it into a hobby and just not use real money, but then start playing with money. Start first as an investor, looking at reading up about dividend shares and shares that always appreciate in value. You understand? So that before you put in money, you're well informed. Learn. That's LEARN. Once you've learned, it will take off the L and you start earning. But it's important that you earn. Now, be wise. Luke 16:8 says, the children of this world are wiser in their generation than the children of light. There's a lot of information going around. Please access this information. There are financial literacy programs, there is computer training, artificial intelligence learning programs for retirees. Please take advantage of all these programs. And then visit government pension offices, money helpers, advice bureau. If you are not very comfortable and you don't really understand, you always have people there who are professionals who can help you, or contact a financial advisor that you are sure can advise you properly. Now, in rounding up everything we have discussed, these are the final royal wisdom which I'd like to pass across as the retirement queen. Rule with wisdom. You're in retirement, you're going to be there for many years. So you need to embrace it and be happy that this is my season and this is when I'm going to reign and be happy. Protect your realm, guide your wealth with smart planning and insurance. Wear your crown. Approach your financial era with confidence and with dignity, knowing fully well that you know what you're doing because you've learned, you've built yourself up. And then stay informed. This is very important. Knowledge is your most valuable currency. You need to know what is going on in the market. You need to know what is happening with your finances. You need to know how your investments are doing. If you need to diversify more. So it's important to learn. It's important to keep yourself informed. The Bible tells us in Proverbs 4 says, wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom. And so you're getting, get understanding. Please apply wisdom when it comes to your finances. Then build your legacy. We've talked about that. Create a lasting impact for generations to come. Thank you very much for being with me on this journey of Retirement Made Simple by the Retirement Queen. Can you post your questions in the down and I would definitely answer them. Thank you. I look forward to sharing with you in another topic maybe next week on Retirement Made Simple series. Please remember to like and to share and to subscribe to this channel. Thank you. God bless you.